Good morning. I'm Stuart Dorby and I'm the energy correspondent for Mirador Television. I'm also the editor and publisher of greenbarrel.com, which is a website about investment in renewable energy companies. The last time I spoke about energy matters it wasn't very high in the charts in terms of press coverage. But now, energy bills are now top of the pops. And in recent days, there's been a sort of anonymous statement, various statements from people, which makes it sound like a soap opera going on. I'll give you some examples. Keir Starmer said that he wants a freeze of the energy cap, and he's going to have another windfall tax, which will bring in 29 million to the poorest people. And he said the UK people go back to the North Sea and actually produce all the gas we need. Well, in fact, I happen to know there is not much gas left in the North Sea, because I was when BP signed over all its interests in the oil and gas interests in the North Sea over a decade ago. The assets were sold to a smaller company. So the next thing you know, Greg Clark, a government minister, says that we get half our gas from the North Sea, which is bonkers. It's known very well for a long time that we get 40% of our gas from Norway, about 35% of LNG from Qatar in the Middle East, and about 6% from Russia. That's not for half of our gas needs, is it? What's he talking about? And finally, we have Liz Truss saying that she's going to find a way of bringing on relief for the poorest people in the country by reducing tax. Well, the poorest people in this country don't pay tax. So what is it all about? Well, to understand what is the energy cap, what is it meant to do? Well, to understand that, we must go back quite a long way to 1974, when the coal miners' strike brought about a energy crisis. And that went on for quite a long time. But after that, people discovered there were lots of gas in the North Sea. And so eventually, Mrs. Thatcher privatized the energy supply companies, which was a disaster in my opinion. Right, what it meant that privatization led to an oligopolistic cartel, which put prices up and whenever it felt like it. And prices were getting so sky high, it became a political issue. Ed Miliband, who was then leader of the Labour Party opposition, he said, if I get into power, I will actually bring in an energy cap. Well, he didn't get into power, David Cameron did. And he got spooked by the idea of an energy cap, and he asked the Competition and Mergers Authority what to do about it. Well, they took a long time to decide, but then they came back with him and said, look, because of the standard variable tariff, this has been played jiggery-pokery with energy prices and energy tariffs. And it is right, because of this jiggery-pokery, the public have been 1.4 billion was taken from the poor people. And the second thing that the CMA suggested was bring in cheaper suppliers. Well, the cheaper suppliers was called by the Economist magazine as infant suppliers, because they reckon the Economist magazine called the remaining companies that had switched to the cheaper option were not fit for purpose. And it turns out that of the 40 ones that existed, 20, 30 of them went bust as the gas price went up. And when the gas price came to continue, they went up. So there were only really another cartel left. It's 5 companies this time. But the original cartel was British Gas, EDF, E.ON, Power, Scottish Power, SSE. SSE has dropped off because it's become a renewable energy company. So that's the cartel of 5, right? And we've had all kinds of things happening recently about the energy cap and what it means. The energy cap is set, is a level set which suppliers can charge, right? But what they can charge. So what the companies got around this by just paying 93% of what the charge was, okay? And they were making huge sums of profit. British Gas, for example, made £1.3 billion profit in the January to June period. And then you look at other things like I've got them here. I will make sure. Don't go away. We got it. Okay, so where was I? In fact, what happened was that the big 5 cartel were actually, as the gas went up, their profits went up. And this is the really terrible bit, is that these, instead of using those profits to invest in their company or to actually help with the poor people, they paid their companies, paid themselves huge profit, huge wages. Because, for example, Chris Shea, the boss of Centrica, which owns British Gas, was paid £1 million. Keith Anderson was paid 1.5 million. Lewis Miller, media, 1 million. And if you go back to the suppliers, for example, BP 6.95 billion before April, June. Shell 9.4 billion, right? What went back into investment? Most of that money was spent incredible, right? Profits for wages for the suppliers. John Pettigrew of the National Grid got £6 million bonus each year, and so on and so forth. And now, lately, the energy cap's supposed to have been actually every 2 years, April 1st and October 1st. But now they've decided to put another one in. They've decided to have it every 3 months, which means that the bills are going to go up every 3 months. And also, they've sneaked in another one for this Friday coming. So what's happened now? Well, okay, so we reckon that on October 1, it would have gone up to from 200,000 to 1,000, 3,300. Some say 0.5, 3,500. And by January, it could go up to 4.2 thousand, 4,200. At that stage, fuel poverty is really, really terrible. And recently, I've heard from somebody called Cornwall Economics or Cornwall, says bills could go up to 6,000 a year. Right. If you divide that by 12, that gives you a bill of £500, just about 448, something like that. Can anybody who's poor find that kind of money, half of their income. It's absolutely obscene. And it's the systematic failure of all governments, Labour or Conservative, to bring about a proper energy policy. It's obscene. There's no other word for it. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right. Well, that was very good, Stuart. We're going to go to a short break, a Rocky Mountain scenic drive through British Columbia, Canada. Just 5-minute clip whilst we get our stuff together so we can do the headlines and behind the pages for the next segment. So we'll see you in 5 minutes.
Okay.
It's really hard to be filming in the car here because the road is rough, patched up all over the place, and hard to keep the camera steady. Now that is a rugged mountain range.
The nice thing about being behind big trucks is that that's all you get to do. Back in the big truck. That's what I
many motorhomes, fifth wheels, trailers, campers, more than in other years for a long time. Even now, like I said, all around. Many of them are rental. Actually, this time we've seen a motorhome, a trailer, and a camper truck, but so many of them out on the road.
All right.
Going back
And
outside.
we are back. That was a short 5-minute break. We were just looking through some of the stories to talk about. We did just find one. We spoke about it briefly, but we can carry on. So we have a story here from The Guardian, who I'm not the biggest fan of, but they have a good story here. Half of care workers in England earn less than entry-level supermarket roles. MPs tackle crisis of 165,000 staff vacancies. That's interesting. It didn't give me much more information, but okay.
Well, actually, Mike, so something about we finished what you're saying.
No, go for it.
Well, it's very interesting this because a couple of weeks ago we were going to Worthing we got off the bus from Brighton and got on the bus from Worthing at 700.
I did that yesterday.
Where it normally arrives very, very quickly.
Mm.
And we waited 3/4 of an hour. And I said, well, what's the delay? And they said, the drivers are not turning out for work. And then I investigated a bit, and it's the same with the airways. It's the same with the bank.
Same with the worst is the train drivers.
The same, all kinds of people. The workforce is not turning up. And this is basically down to Brexit, apparently. It's down to Brexit that this is why it's happening. Because all these all right. Who used to pick the peas in Lincolnshire? Romanians. They haven't come down. What about all the other things that people from Europe used to do? Come over here, drive the buses, working in the banks, work in the universities, all that kind of thing. The workforce, people have to wait for hours and hours and hours to get across the planet. And that's all down to Brexit. It is down to Brexit.
I don't think people being lazy and not turning up to work is due to Brexit.
Well, you're wrong.
I don't.
I'm sorry. I think you're absolutely wrong. I've got, evidences. You go and ask people, why the bus is not there. So nobody's turning up for work.
That's not due to Brexit, though.
It is due to Brexit.
No.
It is. Oh, you silly man. Of course it is. People who come from abroad, right?
Right.
Which is a whole chunk of the actual
no. So the British people are going to get more job opportunities? Darn.
What's he talking about?
If there is no one coming over from different countries to do the jobs of our country, we have more jobs to choose from in this country.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't.
Because there are more opportunities.
But what you don't understand is the class system. They don't want to drive buses, right? Because it's down. It's not what I should be doing, right?
Right.
And there's other reasons, people don't.
Well, the thing about that is the bus drivers are going to go, we don't have enough bus drivers. We need to pay more to try and get people to apply to be bus drivers.
Yeah, but we don't pay
and then when they do, regular people go, oh, okay, that's interesting. I might actually look at that and become a bus driver. because they're offering higher wages. The reason people don't
They're
want to do
offering,
those jobs,
are they offering higher wages? Are they offering higher wages?
Yes,
Why? Are they really?
yes.
Yeah.
Everyone is offering higher wages.
Bullshit. Look, all right, a train drivers are offering £5.60, £56,000, right?
Yeah.
For starters, for driving a train.
For a starting salary.
Yeah,
Jesus
that's right.
Christ.
No, if you look at the other things, look at various other things, like as I say, fruit pickers and all those other kinds of things, and look at the number of foreign people involved in EasyJet and all those kind of things. People,
Well, you know what? I look at the train driver and go, maybe I do want to become it. If it wasn't for having this job, I would genuinely consider becoming a train driver or working in the train industry because they get paid an extortionate amount of money for doing basically nothing. They get to strike all the time and also get paid for doing nothing. So yes, I look at that industry and go, oh, that's appealing. I get paid lots of money and I don't have to do very little. Oh, cool. That's great.
Yeah, how many people are like that, like you? How many people are like you?
With that specific mindset, probably quite a lot.
No, I don't agree with you. It's not working out that way, is it? I mean, look, EasyJet can't get workers. Why not? You tell me why not.
Okay, there's a story there, yesterday in the Daily Mail, saying that they've cut 10,000 flights.
Yeah. That because they haven't got the staff to manage them. That's why.
Well, then they're going to be offering higher wages because they need more staff, and then people go, "Oh, maybe I can work for EasyJet. They are offering really good wages because they're running out of staff."
No, it doesn't work like that because we're not.
How does it work? How does it work?
Well, people who are bloody for Europe are not coming back. That's the whole thing. Right. Fine.
That was the idea of Brexit.
What? To get rid of the workforce? Yeah, all right.
To get rid of the foreign workforce.
God, you're racist as part of everything else. Bloody hell. God.
Not racist. It's just I would rather the English people have the first options for jobs than foreigners.
Yeah, if they want them.
Yeah.
Right. Well, people don't want to drive buses. They don't want things. They want much different jobs, don't they? People don't want to become nurses if they're not going to get paid very much.
Yeah.
Right.
So nurses are going to start to get paid more because there's going to be a shortage of nurses.
We need
to pay nurses. We need to pay nurses more because no one wants to be a nurse.
Yeah, but we're not paying nurses more.
They will be. Is what I'm saying.
No, they will not. What have they been offered? 3% increase. 3% for now. Yeah, you look. You don't know how this bloody government works. You're as bad as them. Yeah. I mean, the fact is the matter. They won't be. These jobs are there, right? But they won't be taken up because the wages, because of Brexit, and the wages are low. All right, the trained people have managed to bribe them into actually doing it. But what about the barristers? You know how much they get?
A huge amount of money.
Really?
Yeah.
There.
It's around £80,000 a year, isn't it?
No.
What is it?
My great granddaughter has been doing a course in Bob and is just qualified as a barrister, and will get 20,000 quid a year
for a barrister.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Positive.
£20,000 a year.
She's only just started,
a
mind you.
Okay.
Right. She went right. So that's what the wages for new barristers, right? Right? That is right. That's what it is.
I should have done a lot more being a train driver then.
Don't be so rude. She's my pride in you, mate.
£20,000 a year is a starting wage for a barrister.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Well, in her experience, yes.
Okay.
Maybe because she's working for the CAB. I don't know.
Okay, I'll have a look into
why are people not coming back for the jobs for EasyJet? The people who used to go up and down the thing, hostesses, the van drivers, and all the rest of it. I don't know. Perhaps they're getting jobs at home or something. But you've heard stories of fruit farms and going bust because there's nobody to pick the grapes and that kind of thing. There's lots of them.
I think a lot of them get bailouts from the government, though.
Do they?
Yeah, it's a very important industry.
What, wine?
food.
Food. Yeah. Who gets bailouts?
Farmers.
Who gets bailouts?
Do farmers not get bailouts?
I'm not sure that they do. Not adequate
Because
ones.
that's a very important industry. Although there is an attack being waged against farmers at the moment in the Netherlands as well, Canada, and soon to be this country, depending on who gets the prime minister role. New Zealand as well, like the burp tax we were talking about. They're trying to make it more expensive for farmers to do their job. Why are they trying to do that? Why are they trying to ruin farmers when you need food?
I know my wife comes from, my previous wife comes from New Zealand. I know a lot about New Zealand. They haven't got, all they got a little sheep. Apart from that, they haven't got much. Okay.
Yeah.
It was once Britain's dairy farm, basically,
but
it's not anymore. So they've got to be self-sufficient. I don't know. Farmers might need the money. I have no idea. Farmers here do get, well, they don't get the kind of support that they were going to get in Europe. That's true. Under the EU rules, but they probably don't get much, and I don't think the NHS gets much, does it? It's just
are you saying what? Sorry, say that again.
What
About
other
the
wages? NHS, yeah. Well, they're not paid particularly well.
No, but 50% of NHS workers are administrators, so that's a big waste. And the bosses as well get paid an unbelievable amount of money, and the diversity officers in every hospital get paid a salary of 100 grand, and that can be scrapped immediately. There is a huge amount of waste that goes on in the NHS. And yes, I agree that NHS workers are underpaid. My mum has been a care worker for many years now in multiple different industries, and they do get underpaid a lot of money. I agree with that.
Yeah.
But the NHS gets NHS gets a huge amount from the government. Where is all that money going?
Well, you're right.
Clearly not.
That is Tony Blair's. That was Tony Blair's fault, because when he actually said the money's going to, they didn't go to the doctors. They didn't go to the nurses and the matrons who actually used to run the hospitals. They went to these bloody consultants, and these consultants, like I know, also were getting private work. When I was told there was a 2-year waiting list for hernia operations, I said, right, I'm going private. It cost me $4 grand.
Yeah.
And Matthew gets paid 100,000 because he gets money from the NHS and he gets money from the private thing.
Similar thing happened
That's when you're
to me.
talking, yeah.
I had to have surgery done on my foot, and this was before COVID. This was in 2019. I had to get surgery on my foot, and the waiting list was 6 months. And at that point, I couldn't walk.
Right.
My mum had to pay for private healthcare for me to get it fixed. And then I had the same problem on the other foot, the exact same problem. I had to get surgery for that. That was during COVID, and the waiting list was 2 years. And again, I couldn't even walk. So yeah, the NHS is so inefficient. And I had to go to private healthcare, and my family can't afford private healthcare. I come from a single parent household, and my mum works as a nurse.
I know exactly how you feel, but I was able to do it. That was the thing.
Yeah,
I said, why am I going to wait? He said it was literally 93 weeks, which that's 2 years, isn't it? Really? And I thought, well, I'm not playing around with this bloody thing for 2 years. And I paid 4,000 to go to Hastings and Spear, it's called, isn't it? Private ones, yeah. I have to say, it was like being in a first-class hotel. They were really wonderful.
Lovely, yeah.
They were really, really good, and I got talking the way I do. And I heard when a lady came out, she said, "Oh, that's great. That's most successful so far." So I got up and said, "I bet you say that to all the boys, don't you?" And she really followed up. And it went on, and I had a carer who was a Filipino nurse, young Filipino nurse. I got talking to him because I know the Philippines very well. I used to go there a lot. And I said, "Look, when do you get time to go home?" He said, "Oh, every 2 years." I said, "Every 2 years before you see your family?" He says, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, what kind of money you pay?" And he's absolutely paid overall. And anyway, when I was sort of up and down, the doctor came around. And he says to me, don't get up. And Elwin, his name was, said, well, most people that come to in a wheelchair. So I got up and I said, everything all right? I said, absolutely fine. My wife's coming to pick me up, but I told Alwyn to tell her to wait a while because I want to watch the end of this film. That's what happened. It was a very nice experience being there. You know?
Yeah, the private healthcare I had was lovely. It was excellent service.
How did you get that then if you couldn't afford it?
We had to borrow money.
That's right around, yeah. What was your operation for?
My foot.
Oh, right.
But
Couldn't walk, yeah.
no. It was literally unbearable.
Well, since then, Tugwell, I've had 3 hernia operations. Since then, this one has lasted for over 2 years. Because they put the mesh on it now. It was a certain keyhole stuff, wasn't it?
Mm.
The earlier 2, they didn't work, so I had another one. But there you go. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. There is a Tony Blair said about all that money was going to so-called consultants. It wasn't going to the matrons and the nurses, was it? And some of them, it should have been fixed. You see, Boris was right in a way, saying that, you know, all this money we've got should be going to healthcare and this, that, and the other. It shouldn't be used to pay out to get us out of Brexit, that sort of thing. You know, they're not putting the money in the right place, are they? I, for example, pay high rates of tax. Okay, and I'm very happy to do so if I thought it was going to the right place. You with me?
Mm-hmm.
If it was going to the right place,
Yeah.
I'd be very happy about that. But if it's going to actually to keep driving on the road, I'm not happy with that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be someone to. I mean, it's very idealistic.
Mm.
I wish this could happen, but obviously it won't. Someone needs to go in and purge a lot of the NHS staff, administrators, people who don't really belong there, useless consultants, diversity not hires, but they have diversity officers, so which get paid $100,000 a year to say not enough black people working here.
Don't like. Too many black people working.
No, the diversity officers, their job is to go around and take ratios of how many people of colour there are working there and to say, oh, there's not enough people of colour working here, we need to hire more. That's their entire job and it's useless. But my mum works in a private sector for healthcare and she doesn't get paid very well at all, and it's a very difficult job. She goes to people's houses. She's a care worker that goes to people's houses and cares for them in their home, so they don't have to go to a nursing home. And it's not an NHS. It's not the NHS. It's a private company. But even then, all the staff don't get paid very well.
Well, it affects young people. My youngest daughter Julia is a care worker in Brighton. She actually, I mean, my children were very well educated and got very good degrees and all that kind of thing. But the salaries there, my middle daughter got an MSc in environmental science and had some very good jobs, but she was paid nothing, peanuts. Julia's the same. I think it's called Rise in Brighton. She works against battered women and all that kind of thing, but I think she earns peanuts. And that's the way life is, unfortunately.
Yeah, my mum worked with adults with learning difficulties for a couple of years, and that was awful wages. It was awful wages.
When you think what the energy supplier gets, right, against what a care worker gets, there's something wrong in the system, isn't there, really? There really is.
But again, they're the managers. They can do whatever they want. They can just say, more money, please. You can't stop them.
Well, it's up to a government. I think probably here some would be much better at this, a proper distribution of income raised, you know. Don't you?
Well, yeah, I think you would be very good at socialism. But I don't particularly want that. Well, you want what? You want dictatorship, don't you? Yeah, love dictatorship.
Lovely, nice dictator without actually cut your balls off.
What? Where did that come from?
Oh, sorry about that, viewers, listeners.
We have another story here from My London. London bus strikes on the bank holiday weekend. So the buses will be going on strike. List of 63 routes that are being completely shut off. What? This is unbelievable. Hang on a minute. Look what right. Hang on. I've never seen it. What? I am seriously shocked by this. All right, look at this. I'm on My London, the website. Hang on, let me turn my brightness down. All right, I'm on My London. Okay, I'm reading the story. I scroll down, and there's an advert on the website. Who is the advert from? This is an advert I got of Sarah Fitzhage's artwork.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's Sarah Fitzhage's artwork.
Really? That's wonderful.
And that's the advert I got on the website My London. That's correct. I'm very shocked by that. That's what?
Oh, see?
Yeah, she's got the Marmite painting and the Fab ice cream.
I wonder if she'll be at the River Show, probably.
Yeah, she is. She will be. Yeah, very sure. That's very interesting. Okay.
Right. We better call it a day now after all these terrible shocks we're getting.
We've got a little bit longer to go. But I've got another story here from Sky News. Nissan to close in Sutherland engineering plant and engineering factory.
Any reason why?
I don't particularly know. The Japanese car-making giant Nissan closes Britain engineering cylinder plant in 2024. It will lose all 250 employees in Sutherland.
Sunderland, you mean?
Sunderland, sorry. This factory's been around for 30 years. It doesn't say why. Nissan will end a more than 30-year cylinder production at Sutherland and underlies the industry growth shift towards electric vehicle production. Okay. I see.
Oh.
So they're going to stop producing engines.
That's interesting, because my stepson does that in the Midlands. He's very good at all that kind of stuff. Electric cars.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't like electric cars. I like hydrogen ones.
Yeah. Have you ever been in a Tesla?
No.
They're amazing, honestly. I've been in a couple. I've been in the P100D Model S, which is a four-door sedan that does 0 to 60 in 1.4 seconds.
Yeah. I know.
1.4, sorry, 2.4 seconds.
But it's run by lithium batteries.
It is, yeah.
So it must suffer from density. This is the whole thing about lithium. It won't take you very far. It will only get you, say, as far as the Midlands.
Well, saying that, the new Tesla Plaid Model S can do 450 miles on a single charge.
For a modest price of 60,000 to buy it.
Well, for the Plaid, you're going to need to fork out about £150,000. But
really?
Yes.
£150,000 for a car?
For the most expensive range. I've actually been in a very expensive car before. Someone let me sit in a Ferrari 250 GTO. Do you know how much they're worth?
Yeah, no, I'm not interested, really.
Do you know how much they cost? How much? Right, it's the most expensive car in the world, right?
Yeah.
How much do you think the most expensive car in the world costs?
Oh, 400,000.
400,000?
Yeah.
A little bit off. The car was worth £70 million.
£70 million.
£70 million for a car.
Oh, it's like a footballer, isn't it? Same price for a footballer. What do you prefer, a car or a footballer?
Car, obviously. It's a very fascinating car as well. Anyway, we're getting off topic.
Well, I mean, I first of all, I don't really like cars very much. I gave my one up in 2017. It was clapped out. Nice car. It was an Eclipse. It was a very nice car.
Mitsubishi.
No, it was a local one, the Czech one. What was it called? Escape. No,
Kia?
Huh?
Hyundai?
No. It was a. What was the old Czech ones called? Czechoslovakian.
Dacia? No. Oh, Seat.
Seat, yeah.
Yeah.
Seat Eclipse it was called. And it was a nice big station wagon. We used to drive up to the Shetlands in it. With one stop. It was wonderful. Wonderful car, but in 2017, it more or less had it. And I thought, well, it was just sitting here doing nothing in Lewis. I thought, why do I need a car? I mean, but they've got a community co-wheels here, haven't they? Community thing, which I'm a member of. So you can hire half an hour.
Do you still have your driving license?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give me another one for 2000. What is it? 2004, I think. Not that I'm the greatest driver in the world, you understand, but
I can imagine.
right here.
I can imagine, yeah.
What was it?
So your driver's license.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a London Street one. Yeah.
Okay.
So I can get up to East Croydon.
Right.
If I'm going to London, right?
Yeah.
I get a book to Barrier 6 because from East Croydon to London, I go for free.
Okay.
And I get
you,
on the tubes. That is free.
You told me something which I was very surprised about. It was that the bus passes don't work in the whole of the UK. It only works in the local area that you live in.
Yeah.
I was very surprised to find out. I thought it was just
no, I think it's not. It's not that. There's something else.
I think maybe it just doesn't work in London, in the city centre.
It doesn't work in London, and it doesn't work, I think, in Scotland, probably Wales, but I think it lives anywhere else. Because there's this thing going around that you can go from Land's End to John O'Groats. The only problem is it will take a year and a half to do it, which I think is true, isn't it?
Probably,
You can go all kinds of places with these bus passes. I get on one and I say, look, having the bus pass is the only good thing about getting old. It is, actually. It is when you think about it. The money you save is incredible.
Yeah. Did you Cineworld has gone bankrupt as well?
Oh, good.
What? Good. Why?
Well, I like to see my films at the depot.
Hmm?
I like to see my films at the depot. Here.
Oh, okay. Oh, right, Lewis. Okay, yeah.
I went to see Fisherman's Friends on Saturday. Have you seen that?
No.
Did you see the first one?
I don't know. I've never heard of it.
Well, Fisherman's Friends is a pastel that people take, right?
Right.
And it turns out that a group of people in Cornwall, which you love, right?
It was a very nice place. I've only been there once.
Formed this choir. They had a sort of choir called Fisherman's. And suddenly, the choir became called Fisherman's Friends. And they kept singing and suddenly gave them a contract, a recording contract. And eventually they ended up singing at Glastonbury. And it was just a bunch of old maritime blokes from Cornwall. It was a really wonderful film. It really was.
Interesting. Not heard of them, no.
Well, it's quite weird having a bunch of old things playing at Glastonbury, isn't it? Singing What You Do With a Drunken Sailor sort of thing. Hardly a bloody number one hit. But they were high in the hit rate with various things. They were singing all these fishermen's shanties. It's another good thing about Lewis, the depot and the con club.
Yeah. Just trying to find. I did have a story here a minute ago, but it seems to have disappeared. Minimum. Okay, here's one by the BBC. Minimum wage should rise to £15 an hour for all workers. Says TUC.
10, 10, yeah. 10 at the
Minimum
moment.
wage is £9.50.
Is it?
Yeah, for people over the age of 23, and £9.20 for 21-year-olds and 22-year-olds, and then at 17, minimum wage is £4.40 an hour.
Oh, that's pathetic, isn't
It
it?
is pathetic.
It's like children going on milk rounds and newspaper rounds, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
insane, really. These governments.
Well, let me put on a short clip again, and we'll get some more stories.
You sure?
Well, what can we put on?
If you haven't got them, you'll invent them. What am I going to do?
We'll play the Ghost Train. I think that's. I can't remember this one. Okay, we'll play this one. This could be interesting.
Okay.
Many people find commuting by train tiresome. But one of the pleasures of taking a train to London is that it passes through some of the most beautiful countryside in the UK. None more so than the view of the countryside as the line approaches Clayton Tunnel, just north of Brighton. The tunnel is the longest on the line, at 1.25 miles, running under the South Downs. It's unusual because the entrance is not the usual railway brick. It is instead designed to look like the gateway to a castle. On top is a cottage built for the railway's lightkeeper in 1849. The tunnel itself was opened in 1841 and the cottage added later. Idyllic. But after 1861, it became a nightmare, or at least for those who believe in ghostly goings-on. In August of that year, a night train left Brighton, travelling north to London. Partway through the tunnel, it stopped at what it thought was a danger signal from the lightman. The engine driver was correct. The railway official had indeed given a danger signal, but the train had rushed past him before pulling up. Thinking the train had cleared the tunnel, the unfortunate lightman gave the all clear to a following train. And it slammed into the back of the first train in the dark, killing 23 and injuring 176 more. It was the worst ever accident on the line. And people walking on the downs over the underground passage have reported hearing the screams of the passengers as the trains pile into each other. The line is now also a direct line from Lewes. I've travelled through that tunnel 1,000 times. I've never heard a scream other than the screech of the wheels and brakes. But I've never walked over the downs at that point either. And I turned down an invitation to stay in the cottage overnight. In fact, I get tense each time I go into the tunnel, knowing what had happened more than 165 years ago. But my fellow passengers carry on reading their newspapers, obviously oblivious to both the tragedy and the ghosts. I could sometimes scream at them. The ghosts of Clayton Tunnel. Eerie. Bloody eerie.
Can't believe I just did that. All right, it was muted. So we're back for the next 5 minutes. We'll head off. We have a meeting to go to. We're going to be possibly doing some work with Glyndebourne. So I'm not going to say too much about it right now, but that could be interesting. That's coming up soon, hopefully. But I have one more story here from the Daily Mail. Finnish Prime Minister is under fire for partying quite hard, supposedly. And they have some photos here of the Finnish Prime Minister.
Well, that's quite a nice one.
That's who she was partying with.
Oh, yeah.
That's the Finnish Prime Minister. Let me
Right.
show you. So this is from the Daily Mail. These are some of the photos taken with the Finnish Prime Minister. Yeah,
Oh
partying.
my dear, those things are they were run well, aren't they? Oh bloody hell, partying! What the hell was that?
I know. Well, it could get you kicked out of office here for doing
I
that.
thought all
partying.
those people up north didn't have parties because it's too cold. Anyway,
Well, they just party indoors.
I tell you
yeah.
what, they can half drink a lot.
Do they?
When I was in Estonia once, in Estonia it's like 25% Russians, and there's always problems with what. And anyway, the Finns come across on the ferry, and by 8 o'clock in the morning, they're absolutely pissed. And then they're there all during the day. Some of them get beaten up by the Russians, some of them didn't. Anyway, at the end of the day, they're given little trolleys to take the booze back to Finland, having a sort of anarchic situation here where the Russians were fighting for the booze because the booze was about 3 times more expensive in Finland than it was in Estonia. But it was these wretched Russians who used to go around causing trouble.
I can imagine that it is very expensive.
Finland's a very nice place. They're very nice people.
I've never been.
Mm.
I've never been out of the country. I've never been to Scotland or Wales, actually.
Well, you must start. You must broaden your horizons.
Well,
Max.
I'm one of those bad people who can't leave or can't go to many countries.
Why? Because you've got a criminal record.
No, because I am not vaccinated for COVID.
You can do it. You can get vaccinated, can't you?
I can physically, yes.
But you don't want to.
I'm
Why not?
good.
Why not?
I just didn't. I never did it because it didn't make sense to do it, and I didn't trust it. And COVID's over now anyway. And turns out I was naturally immune in the first place. So
Is it over now? Is it over now?
yeah, COVID's over. It's done with.
So what is the argument? It's just like the flu now, is it?
It is. It's always been the flu. Yeah.
Well, I
It's
don't
always
agree
been
with
the flu.
as usual. I don't agree with you.
It's just
We must work hard at finding something we can agree with.
there will be something eventually. Well, we agreed earlier with the mismanagement of money in the NHS.
I agree. Yeah, it's true.
I'm sure we agree on other things. I don't know.
But what do you think about the Manchester United footballer Ryan Giggs?
I've never heard of him.
Well, he's a footballer. Surely you've heard
I've
of him.
never watched a game of football in my life.
Oh right. What do you watch? Hockey?
I don't watch any. I watch
You
racing.
don't even watch the women playing football. That's quite a spectacle. Surely something must turn you on, Max. What is it?
Racing.
You don't like football. You don't like drugs. You don't like this. You don't like anything. God, what a boring life you must have.
Well, yes. No, I occasionally watch the racing, but I just don't like the commentary. I would love to go watch Formula One in person, but the commentary, just people blabbering over the noise of the cars. I'm like, just shut up. I want to hear the racing. I want to hear the cars.
Oh, I had a very interesting racing story this morning. I read that Bernie Ecclestone has been fined 400 million or something.
Yeah.
My children went to school with his children, Tamara and the rest of it.
Really?
Yeah, my children was private school, you know.
But isn't Ernie Beckelston like 90-something?
93.
93?
Yeah,
And his kids are the same age as yours?
yeah, but my kids were very late. I was in my 30s, so was he, I think.
Well, I think, no, he would have been in his 40s, 50s then. If
Well,
your eldest is...
my eldest is what, 42?
Well, yeah, so he must have been in his 60s when he had his kids.
Yeah, well, that's when
And
I
he's
had
90 now.
No, my first child, Thea, was born in 1979. Yes, 1979. No, her birthday was on October 3rd, right? And then it went down to 1985, and then the other one was 1987.
The creator of the show Peppa Pig, I went to school with their kids. He lived in the village,
Which village?
Cookfield.
Oh, right.
But
No, I'm just trying to think about what were we saying?
Bernie Eccleston, where did he live then?
Well, he was all over the place, didn't he?
Yeah.
Anyway, Tamara and his sister were on dope. So he had to do something to bribe them to let them stay on. So some people give swimming pools to a school to sort of bribe. Anyway, he gave them a complete sort of IT system, a whole bloody, what is it, system? Must have cost him a fortune, but he's got a fortune to lose. But it's really quite interesting that
he's got multi-billion in.
These people that are sent, like my kids also went to school with the young Bransons, and but they weren't fazed by his fame or anything like that. And I used to swim up and down on the local swimming pool with him. I never liked him. I knew he's such a con man, but I mean, he's very charming to talk to.
I'm sure he was. Con men usually are.
Yeah.
I don't know who that was, by the way.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's nearly 11 o'clock. We have to get heading off. Thank you very much for watching today. It's been quite good. We've had a lot of interesting stories and a lot of interesting discussions and debates and arguing. Well, thank you very much. Is there anything you want to say?
No, just goodbye. Have a nice rest of your day.
Yeah, have a nice rest of your day. Join us tomorrow at 8:50 tomorrow morning. Goodbye.